frankly speaking, I have been to start with, I started my career in '94, a very reluctant participant in the IT technology. All I wanted to do in life, I am a creative writer. I wanted to be a copywriter, but destiny had different plans. Basically, my MBA examination, because of a murder in the university, got postponed by 2 months, and the job that I had as copywriter, which is Ogilvy and Mather, could not wait for 2 months, and I joined my campus recruitment IT company. And I remember that when I was doing MBA, this is '92 to '94, our computer marks were not added to our final score. So when the computer class was on, I used to write poetry on my monitor. So, but having said that, you must have heard of Big Basket. So the Big Basket, one of the funding partners of Big Basket, which is Ganesh Krishnan, was my first boss. He's ex-HCL and Shiv Nada's EA. So he is the one who inducted me into technology. And ever since I got into technology, I slowly but steadily fell in love with technology because it made me smarter. And I still remember, a lot of you people may not know that there was a gentleman by the name of Preet Vedi, who was a presenter and he was a national head of one of the largest agencies, advertising agencies called Lintas. So when I wanted to hire Lintas and I wanted to send a mail in the year of 2001, I'm being used to sending a personal email box since the year of '99 onwards, I got to know and I was shocked that in the year of 2002, he had a group email ID. So that is how I have lived my world of technology. And just a little bit, I just thought my topic is how AI is impacting the industrial world and how it is changing the world. I'm sure you must have heard of a company by the name of JLR, Jaguar Land Rover. And you must have heard of a guy called, I'm a big fan of him, Ratan Tata. So when Ratan Tata wanted to buy JLR, at the same time, there was a PE firm which wanted to buy from the Ford. Now Ford bought JLR and Ford bled JLR. I mean, JLR bled Ford. JLR was a loss-making British company which Ford acquired because of the iconic brand. And for five plus years, Ford Motors could not run it. And when Ratan Tata wanted to buy it, everyone in the world said, you know, you're a big fool, Ford couldn't run it, you can't run it yourself. And when he had asked the British government for a sovereign guarantee to take the loan at a cheaper rate, British government refused. And even though he said, I'll save the jobs of Britain. So when JLR came on board and he turned around the business the first year, he analyzed, and that's what I'm saying. So I would say artificial intelligence is also analytic intelligence. So he analyzed and found out that majority of the senior management people don't work for more than 4 hours, 4.25. So he used to have all his meetings, he used to fly it on a Saturday evening. And he introduced something called frugal manufacturing. I know Nano is a big failure, but there's another company by the name of Renault which picked up and launched a super model called Kwid. So he introduced this frugal manufacturing from the industrial world. What AI does and what it can do is smart supply chain management. The number of red-colored cars being sold globally tells Ratan Tata how much of red paint to order automatically. So he has installed this piece, and if hypothetically, if you see the Ranveer Singh ads, Nerolac is painting most of the automobiles. Nerolac can order the raw materials basis of the number of red cars being sold. So when you reduce the cost, you squeeze the cost, you increase the value. And when you increase the value, your profit and loss statement becomes much, much better. So when your Tata Motors profits is going down because Indica is pulling it down, your frugal manufacturing and e-commerce is pulling your value up at the JLR, so your global balance sheet goes up. So that is the impact of AI, and I have worked in a BPO company, and I'm very sure that, so AI's impact in the services sector and AI's impact in the manufacturing sector. In the manufacturing sector, yes, there are robots, how to program the robots to different things, and as Karma has told us, HR person can be bombarded with all kinds of compliance questions, and he can come up with ready answers. So you'll have ready answers. AI can help you that. Frugal manufacturing will reduce the cost, will reduce the mistakes. And in the services sector, so I can give you a real life example, which is also quoted as a case study in Harvard and as well as Oxford, which was a company that I worked for. So we scaled up from the BPO to becoming a KPO. So if BPO is known as business process outsourcing, AI can actually make it business people outstanding. So if you, I'm very sure you have called up a number of times, Airtel or any other call center, and there's a voice which comes up that your call may be recorded for future use. That is, quality control. So that is nothing but an AI interface of mapping number of questions which can be automated. According to research, from the tech support, 70 to 80% requests which comes into a tech support saying my computer is not working, reason is I have not plugged in the wire properly. So there are these rudimentary questions which can be answered, and also please understand, because we are humans, we are liable to make mistakes. To err is human, to forgive is divine. When I have this call barging facility wherein I record, and when I record, I understand that most of the call center agents are making these kind of mistakes. How do I make a quality analysis when I'm inducting them or training them? So that the future, they don't make those mistakes again. And also, you may not know, but in a BPO setup, every aspect of service offerings, every KRA, KPIs are actually mapped from a quality perspective. Six Sigma, capability maturity model, so that the company can scale up. So I've worked in a company called eBookers. So eBookers, one of the largest online travel portals of London, because of mismanagement of its operations. So it had a very inorganic growth. So there was this Indian guy called Dinesh Dhimeja who used to run eBookers out of London. So he used to buy online portals. I'm talking 99 to 2000. He used to buy online portals across Europe and then integrated it into the eBookers platform. But that inorganic growth meant that every country's CEO became the CEO of that, and they had their own operations, because of which his operational cost ballooned. While top line grew, the bottom line also grew. Fact of the matter is, in the year of 99, 90% of his profits were shaved off because of operational losses. And if you know, according to stock exchanges, when more than 70 to 80% of your profits are gone, your stock trading is stopped, banned. So he sent his merger and acquisition head to India to buy out a call center. There, again, that's when he used some predictive tools to analyze what are the low-end jobs and what are the high-end jobs. And he found out that most of the times across Europe, now he wanted to migrate a lot of calls to India. He found out that in London or any other European country, when you went to eBookers, for example, when you go to Make My Trip, you book a ticket from London to Delhi, you just get a call. And you just get one call. So he increased that call, so using some predictive tools and analyzing what more value can he add to the client. So I'm saying AI is not just taking off the repetitive task, but is also helping make strategic decisions. How to increase the value. So when there was only one call being made to the customer saying, thank you for using eBookers platform for booking a ticket from London to Delhi, there was another query happening. Where after Delhi? Can I help you to book another ticket? Now, can I help you to buy a hotel, because I can garner a bulk discount for you. What about your cab? Can I help you with a cab? And while in airline booking, the gross margin is only 2 to 4%, on insurance is about 150%, and they were not selling insurance. So AI can actually be used to do a competitive analysis, to do a revenue analysis as to where all can I add more value and plug in leaks. So to be very frank, we started selling holidays also and increasing the revenues. So on a salary of 20,000, a call center agent was actually getting a incentive profit sharing of 90,000 rupees. And we had examples, tons and tons of examples of senior executives refusing a promotion to become a manager because the moment he became a manager, उसको 40,000 रुपए मिलते, but 90,000 जो profit मिलता, वो नहीं मिलता उसको. So he forego, and not only that, he was making 90,000. We had, emissaries from different embassies coming from Europe to sell their countries as destinations. And again, we did an analysis. What I'm saying is, what AI is not thought about is, as a tool for senior management people to make decisions and strategy to not only save, but not only survive, to thrive also. So this is how my CEO used some data to transition a BPO into a KPO. And when you become a KPO, you fuse to the client. FUSE, your fusion with the service offering to the client is so intricate that the client cannot think of business without you. And that's when a BPO becomes a consultative BPO. And when your life becomes a consultative life, your own power in your circle becomes better, your balance sheet becomes better, you reduce costs. As I said, Ratan Tata has turned around, and JLR is a shining example. In the services sector, this e-bookers became one of the most profitable KPOs out of India. And while in the initial year of 99, 95% market share was shaved off, when they sold it to Sendent in the year of 2005, their valuation had skyrocketed actually. So that's what the AI tool is actually. And for individual like us, I think AI makes a fantastic tool to understand where the world has headed and which sectors or what new areas of intelligence can I imbibe. A very small sector, I can tell you example. So we were initially a call center. We were just picking up calls. We started making more calls. We started selling insurance. Yes, the revenues increased. Then we did an analysis as to where all can we make more difference. And we found one of the major areas to be financial outsourcing. Now, AP and AR, accounts payable and accounts receivable. Typically what used to happen, all the 13 offices across Europe used to collate their data and send it to the central office in London, where London the spreadsheet was made. What we did is we created a software, and instead of sending the report, you send the report, and automatically at the back end, a final data was, which is what an ERP does. And that reduced by 65% the mistakes which were happening in the collation. And out of the blue, finance realized that they were saving some thousands and thousands of pounds. So, and money saved is also money earned. Suddenly, the finance department started to make money because the money saved was money earned. So that is when I'm saying that not only the power of our BPO increased phenomenally, my CEO was part of the negotiation team which negotiated the new price and new valuation for the new business which our company helped increase eBooker's parent company. So AI can actually make a superstar of so-called the labor segment. If the labor segment can start to do something so smartly that it can save the cost. So that is how AI accumulated wisdom, augmented intelligence, or whatever you may say, is a phenomenal aspect. And I know for the matter is, so I'm a visiting faculty at Delhi University, right? And I can tell you that I have been teaching since 2005. The syllabus of marketing, and that's my field, I'm a marketer actually, and I'm an HR marketer, Ericsson is a client. So the syllabus of marketing in Delhi University has not changed in the last 20 years. Can you believe that marketing has not changed in 20 years? And that's when I think there are two professions, and both are noble professions, which are immune to appraisal, where AI is actually needed. One is a doctor, the other is a teacher. I'm sure none of you have asked your children or your own teacher, "Kya padhate kaise hain?" But they need to be taught. Actually, they need to be appraised, because both a doctor, while the doctor saves a life, a teacher makes a life. And AI is needed out there. So that is how I have, coming from IT industry, I have based my curriculum based on the challenges of a student which he has in his interview, and not to puke in the examination sheet. Because in a professional course, you're preparing yourself for the future world. So he was talking about VLCC. 11,000 plus 5,000, 16,000 employees. Imagine if a VLCC store, someone comes in and says, I want to get this beauty done, and he says, "Hello, this is not there in my textbook, जो मैंने learn किया था. अब कल आइएगा, let me talk to my boss." How will that feel? That's where, the AI should be able to change the way strategies are made, the way overall interactivity is done, actually. And I don't know how many of you know social media marketing. Facebook, for example, I do social media marketing for a lot of corporates, where AI is helping me to map future posts on Facebook, Instagram, so I can program for the entire year certain posts to be going out of my HotSuite or those kind of software, so that every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, something on the Facebook, something on the Instagram is posted. So I'm alive on Facebook. I may still be holidaying in Goa. So that is, AI is begun to make a lot of impact at the rudimentary level of regular posts, at the HR level, as Karma was talking about, and from a strategic perspective of turning around businesses profitably, growing the reputation of the business, and of course, growing the reputation of a nation. Because if India is the BPO capital of the world, 68.6% revenues of BPO come out of Gurgaon, where we are sitting right now. So you're actually sitting in the knowledge capital of the entire world, which is transforming India from business process outsourcing to business people outstanding only because of tools like AI. And because every process in BPO, I'm in love with BPO actually, because I got transformed when I joined the BPO industry in 2005. At 3 o'clock, I can play badminton. At 2 o'clock, I can listen to music. The business never stops. I've got the entire world at my feet, and that's what BPO is about. And it's because of the BPO that we have these 16 or 17 flyovers on NH8, because of the investment that it has got. And for every one job in a BPO employee, it supports 7 other jobs. It's created 0.0%, 0.01% of revenues of foreign exchange for us. So, okay, when I see Sunanda, I know I have this time out. So that's where AI is about. And like any other change, so I am always reminded of this example which I give to my students. So there was this Miss Universe Sushmita Sen, right? And there was this Miss World Aishwarya Rai. Aishwarya Rai, according to the global perspective, not my perspective, supposed to be more beautiful than Sushmita Sen. And when they went for Miss India contest, everyone said, you know what, Aishwarya Rai is going to win the title. But in the round, when they have to give a small speech, the topic was change. Aishwarya stuttered. And Sushmita said, if there is something constant, it is change. She won the Miss Universe title, and you know the history. So while you may be fantastic, you may be the most intelligent person, you may be the strongest person in the world, but if you don't know how to use the AI tool and technology at the right moment, at the right time, you will be relegated like Aishwarya Rai was relegated. So that is how I think AI is beginning to change a lot of rudimentary stuff plus strategic stuff. And it is in the strategic stuff that it can move mountains, which it is doing. And it has got India a destination where, you know, our Prime Minister, I'm sure you would not like to vote for Alexa, you would like to still vote for between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, not Alexa, not Siri. But I foresee, you know, you could, you know, Narendra Modi could be talking about, you know, don't vote for Siri, vote for me. Because Siri can be hacked, I can't be hacked. So anyways, that's just a joke. But AI is there for all of us. And AI has begun to make a lot of difference in the corporate balance sheets. It has made a lot of difference to the individual jobs as well as learnings. So you have extramarks.com, you have byju's.com, which at the back end, and at very rudimentary level, I'm sure most of you use Google, right? And when you type a wrong word in Google, there's an algorithmic change which tells you, you know what, this is the right spelling. So that is where, and I get a lot of international stuff, and I need some translation done. So that's again, at the back end, there's an AI tool which is translating stuff for me, which is making life more simple. And also when I go back to Google after 10 days and I'm typing certain search keywords, it reminds me last time you had typed out, do you want to search again this? That is where it is coming to. And for anyone who tracks certain sectors of the economy, for investment perspective or for knowledge perspective, there's something called Google Alerts. So you can put a Google alert, and anytime and every time anything new pertaining to any topic that really interests you is posted anywhere in the world, you will get a Google alert. So that is how AI at a very rudimentary individual level from a Google perspective, from a strategic perspective as Ratan Tata has turned around his business from frugal engineering to BPO services sector where using quality, call barging and all, you can actually turn around the business from a normal to a high level knowledge perspective. To not only grow your revenues, to grow your reputation, but also your integration with your client. So that's how AI is all about. So if there are any questions, so I've lived this AI world since 1994 onwards, actually. So it's a very simple thing. While a lot of us may have bad handwriting, but when all of us use 10 font size Arial on a Word document, it becomes legible. And our own, bad handwriting is hidden away. So I think AI is a fantastic tool which removes irregularities, replaces irregularities with regular stuff, replaces mistakes with intelligent predictiveness, which replaces infirmities with really strong points. So actually, it's becoming a fantastic word. And after a long time, we humans are the most intelligent beings on the universe, on the face of Earth. After a long time, we are actually leveraging the intelligence that we've been blessed with from a perspective of having a tool now to transfer it down the generations and not losing it. So after Rigveda, I think AI is the next big change. That's what it is. Thank you. So any questions? Yeah.
Less of a question, more of something that we do since you said that. I think the tradition of defining business, understanding what impact will look like, has been consistent from a business decision standpoint, and that's where AI comes very strongly. Right. So I'll share something that we did.
So there's been a while that biometrics has been used for attendance from a payroll standpoint, and so on and so forth, especially in retail setups that are all over the place with small teams, irregularities of center managers having favoritism, and so on and so forth. So one of the key AI processes that we have over there is UI UX interface. So in fact, we've gone ahead to top up my biometric on face recognition, which is a traditional old setup to define general. So if Pranav comes to the center, I can either choose a thumbprint or it automatically recognizes. It's a classical approach. We took that a step ahead, and that's where the data came very as a key throughput. The technology obviously today is not that you have to face the camera will automatically read that you have entered the center because it is defining as face recognition. We did that to the customer side of it. So when an old customer comes or a new customer comes, the center manager actually is obviously has a barrage of products which it wants to sell from a service line standpoint. That it could be just a service, it could be a loyalty program that is up in, it could be multiple other discounts that it wants, and so on and so forth. So what we did ahead is that when a customer comes and we broke that into an age bracket, we know that what is the number of footfall in that center based on age. And we linked that to the back end of the reception, where the problem is that a center manager who is paid, say, 70,000 rupees, I cannot expect him to behave like a CEO, which he theoretically is of that center. Right? So that person says that if Pranav comes in, Pranav is an old guy, his hair is bad, so give him these are the 5 products that you do, because post facto decision of why that center didn't do well is that, oh, I forgot selling this product to this individual. So when the individual is there, the definition of AI is already on live, interpreting and giving data to the center manager to say, tell him these 4 things. Build a checklist around that.
That's a fantastic thing.
So we did that so VLCC's always had a loyalty program, 30-year-old, very poor. For the past 2 years, our loyalty program is up the charts. So in fact, you guys would have seen last 2 years, VLCC is really at the forefront on digital media, making sure that there's a lot of value proposition. So today, when a customer enters the market, that person has a relevant orientation of being told what is correct and what can be recommended based on real-time data flows that exist at the back of it. So AI around that is something that we use it's not only from a grievance level or a back-end data flow, but from building business itself. It is today 30% of my revenue, which is about 400 crores.
That's strategic.
That is strategic.
Yeah. Strategic client delight. So, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to India's first corporate news channel. We invite interviews, articles, press releases from your organization. Visit our portal www.indianconventions.com. Thank you.